Denim. Denim. Denim.
Denim, 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 denim,
Bears beats Battlestar.
Stay on target.
You can't handle the truth.
Stay on target.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
With great power comes great responsibility.
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Well, welcome to the pod.
Welcome.
I'm Connor.
I'll let him go first. You were about to. Okay, I'm Jacob.
I'm Jordan Summers, and I'm an astral projection of that weird taste in your mouth you woke up with this morning.
Yeah.
And we are Pop Culture Redemption. Now I'm analyzing what taste is in my mouth. It's okay.
I wouldn't have been
It's an
mad at
okay
it.
taste.
I think I woke up with chili in my mouth.
What
like
did you
taste
just
of
say?
chili.
Can you say that again? Astral projection of the taste that you woke up with? What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm Jordan Summers, and I'm an astral projection of that weird taste in your mouth you woke up with this morning.
Nice.
Here's a dumb question. What's an astral projection?
Astro?
Astral?
Astral.
Astral. See,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say it. What is
Astral.
that?
Astral projection is the idea of an outer body experience that you do yourself, and that, or someone does to you or for you, and then you're living in, and you're able to walk and be outside of your body in some weird astral state where you're like,
Oh, the thing that happens to Spider-Man in No Way Home,
Oh, yeah.
where he gets yeeted
Yes.
out of his body by Doctor Strange.
yes.
Oh,
And he's still doing the
I
thing.
was just going to say it's like that heavenly feeling when you wake up from a nap on Sunday afternoon.
That's good too.
that
taste.
Dude, that sends me.
Put that in a candle. I want to smell that every day. Welcome to Pop Culture Redemption, everyone.
Welcome.
It's good to be here. Again, we're just having a group of guys having a conversation about how the church can have better vision of God working in pop culture.
Pop, pop.
Pop, 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 pop. So first off, happy fall. I don't know wherever you may be listening to us from. Around here, it's starting to get cold outside.
Thank
A little
God.
colder. Yeah, finally. And worship leaders everywhere are thankful that we can finally layer again.
Denim.
Just denim. 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 Denim.
Denim, 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 denim,
Anyways, we're pumped because denim season,
It's back.
it's back. Flannel and denim, it's coming.
But it also means that the summer is over and I must fade. Farewell, my brothers.
Where'd Jordan go?
I have no idea.
What?
But
Oh no.
come back.
I'm back.
He's back.
I'm Jordan Autumn, and I am the astral projection of that weird taste in your mouth you woke up with this morning.
Excellent.
Nice.
Is it pumpkin spice?
It is whatever your heart desires.
It is fall season.
That's what I'm saying.
Actually, it's eggnog.
Oh, that'd be Jordan
I
Winters,
mean,
wouldn't it?
It's okay.
No, you're right. It's pumpkin cake with cream cheese frosting.
There we go.
One time I made a pumpkin pie and a pecan pie in the same pie. Oh my gosh. It was delicious. It's like the best of both worlds. Because usually you got to pick. You want pumpkin pie or you want pecan pie?
I love
Wait,
this.
like,
I want
like
to try
half
this.
of it was pumpkin and half of it
They
was
were
pecan?
layered.
Oh, it
The
was
bottom
layered.
of it was pecan and the top was pumpkin.
Ooh, so you get a
And
nice
it was-
crunch in the middle.
Yeah.
Like me?
All right. Well, this is our Halloween episode, everyone. Spooky. So when this comes out, it will be Halloween. So happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
There you go.
Happy All Hallows Eve, infidels.
Today.
Probably should have said Happy Reformation Day.
Yeah.
That's yeah. All Saints Day.
All Saints.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy that too.
Yeah.
So today we're going to use kind of the Haunted Mansion, the new one, the new movie that just came out, the 2023 Disney Haunted Mansion movie, to kind of help guide our conversations of this.
Not the ride?
Not the ride. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about the ride too.
Okay.
We'll talk a little bit about the ride. We'll talk a little bit about the older movie, the one in 2003 with Eddie Murphy. But we're mostly going to talk about the new one that came out this year. And what?
So stay tuned because this podcast will be a ride.
It will be it has already been a ride and it will continue to be a ride. And part of our Halloween decor, we have Jordan Summers' favorite game here on the table, Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Favorite board game.
Oh, favorite board game.
Yes.
Good clarification.
Yeah, saying
Yes.
favorite game is way too broad. No.
Yeah, no.
All right.
that-
Well, here's a journey that we're going to go on.
a gurney journey.
Oh, hope not. What is your favorite game?
My favorite game.
Yes.
Okay. I have for me it's favorite game franchises, right?
Okay.
So number 3 is Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger,
Okay.
the Chrono games.
Uh-huh.
Number 2, Halo series.
That's not number one. I know what number one is.
Okay.
Number 1,
Wait. What do you think number one is?
Zelda.
it's Zelda.
It's Zelda. Okay.
It's absolutely Zelda.
Jake, look at that. True
Not even a
friendship.
question.
True friendship. Right there. Look at that. Awesome. So where would this game rank on your favorite games then? Is it like top
Like-
10?
Up there?
Like all kinds of games.
Yeah.
ever.
When I say games, what number does this pop into for you?
I'd probably put it in my top 10.
There you go.
I would probably put it in my top 10.
That's a big deal, people.
I
cool
would
game.
say D&D is still above this.
Yes.
But yeah, if I'm including this, then yeah, this would definitely be in my top 10.
I know. Cool. Well, there you go.
You want to explain a little bit about the premise of this game and how interesting it is? Now that since we're on the topic.
I mean, yeah, why not? So the premise of Betrayal at House on the Hill, sponsored. No, it's not sponsored.
Please do.
Oh man, that'd be great.
We know you're listening.
The premise of the game is you and a group of explorers, like all of your characters are explorers or heroes or adventurers, whatever kind of adjective you want to throw there. And you're going into this creepy looking house and you're exploring it. And every time you explore the house, it's different because you open up different rooms and you're finding different items and different weird omens are happening. And eventually you start the haunt and one of the players maybe turns traitor and you'll just kind of see what happens. And there's in the base game, there's 50 scenarios. With the Widow's Walk edition, there's another 50 that you can get on top of that. It's just a great time.
Wait, Jordan, are you saying that means that there are 100 different ways to play this game?
There's more than 100 because the house might be different. If you got the exact same haunt twice, it can be a completely different experience just based on
Oh, the layout of the house.
the layout of the house. Depending on what items different people have, depending on what state people's stats are at, it'll be different. If you like games like if you like RPGs like Final Fantasy or Dungeons and Dragons, or like even like Zelda or something, if you like that kind of thing, you might really enjoy Betrayal at House on the Hill.
It's a really fun game.
It really is.
So there you go. All right. So getting into this pod here.
Talking about a different haunted mansion.
That's right. Different haunted house, haunted
Yeah.
mansion. Just to introduce, right, the podcast as we like to invite you every time you listen, as every show likes to invite you every time you listen, is do the verbs.
Like, share, subscribe,
Rate.
Comment.
Review.
comment.
Shout it from the rooftops. I don't know. What else?
Yeah, you could do that too.
Go door to door.
Yeah.
Hand out flyers.
Yeah.
Discuss it with your small group. Discuss it with the people that you walk in fellowship with at church, because we are doing this to help the church have a better vision of God's work in pop culture. So, maybe it's an opportunity for you to springboard and say, hey, let's go listen to this podcast I've been checking out and let's have a discussion about this. Let's listen to what they think and what they say. And then maybe you and I will go and watch whatever movie or let's get our group together and go watch a movie or something and try to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
could make more chaos and try listening to the episode while watching the movie that the episode is about at the same time.
Chaos. Mass chaos.
Mass chaos.
Another thing that you can do is you can email in the show. In fact, one upcoming movie that we're going to do is Napoleon Dynamite. And so
What
some
a
of
classic.
us, yes, obviously that's a movie that came out a little while ago, but with election season coming up, we're going to have a Tuesday with an election Tuesday coming up when we release a pod. So we figured, hey, Napoleon Dynamite, a lot of that is kind of based on
There's an election in the movie.
a class election. That's kind of it's a main part of the plot of that movie. And so it'd be kind of fun and loose to kind of just go through that movie. And
So you're telling me Election Tuesday comes after Reformation Day?
yes,
Oh.
it does. You
Well.
want to unpack that theologically?
Nope.
Okay, keep it moving. So please, if you have trivia
Nice.
related to Napoleon Dynamite that you would like to send into the show, please email us at admin@popcr.org. And if you do email it in, you'll get to hear your trivia question read on the show, which today we have listener submitted trivia.
We do.
Someone has submitted trivia for the Haunted Mansion. So we will get into that. So diving into the Haunted Mansion, this movie, this 2023 American supernatural horror comedy film. Boy,
There's so many words
that's a
put into
mouthful
that.
right there. Supernatural horror comedy film. Again, was released July. Oh shoot, where'd it go? July 28th, 2023 of this year. It's actually the second theatrical film based on the ride of the same name found in Disney theme parks. So the first one we've already referenced, I think, was the Eddie Murphy movie that came out in 2003. And this is the second movie, and they're both based on the ride, the very popular ride, The Haunted Mansion. And in this film, the main characters, Gabby and Travis, enlist the aid of a team to help exorcise ghosts around them out of this haunted mansion.
I didn't know any of them were coaches.
Exorcise. Not exercise, exorcise.
That took me way too long to figure out.
All right, here's the cast.
Oh my goodness.
So Ben is Lakeith Stanfield. Oh, might have gotten that wrong. Gabby is Rosario Dawson.
Ahsoka's in the
Ahsoka.
Haunted Mansion?
That's right. Amazing. Imagine that. Father Kent is played by Owen
I think it's
Wilson.
Stanfield.
Wow.
I think it's Stanfield.
Stanfield.
I think. Lakeith Stanfield?
Wow. Ka-chow.
Good sugar. Good sugar. Anyway, let's keep moving forward here.
It's like Tomater, except without the tuh. I got Harriet, as played by Tiffany Haddish. Bruce Davis, Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Madame Leota, played by Jamie Lee Curtis.
Awesome.
Travis, who's the kid, is played by Chase Dillon. Crump is Jared Leto. Does Jared Leto just have a corner on like all weird character
think so, yeah.
villains?
Yeah.
Morbius, Joker, this guy, Crump. What's his name? Crump.
I mean, it's kind of like how
It's like-
Michael
it's like-
Cera has he only plays the awkward characters.
It's like I think if I saw Jared
Alan-
Leto without without
Scott
like a
Pilgrim.
crazy thing, I'd be like, I don't know who you are. He always plays a crazy character.
Well,
Maybe
it's like
he does
how,
it on purpose so that he can't get recognized out on the street.
Maybe.
who's the Ryan Reynolds? Ryan Reynolds is the same character in every movie. He's just Ryan Reynolds.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he just plays himself.
Like,
There are a
and
couple
so
of-
heck, so does what's one of the actor that one of the other actors you named?
Danny DeVito.
Owen
Danny
Wilson.
DeVito.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito is just Danny DeVito.
Owen Wilson. I don't like
Owen
being a
Wilson,
manhandled.
yeah.
Unless he's what's the goat's name from Hercules?
Hercules.
Oh yeah, Phil is his name.
I think so.
That is his name.
So he's either Danny DeVito or he's Phil from Hercules.
I
There is-
forgot about that.
There you go.
It's why it's the best Disney movie.
Well,
So
there's
again-
a lot of reasons why that's a good.
So back to this Disney movie, Haunted Mansion. Released July 28th, 2023. It grossed $117 million worldwide, which came in below their operating budget of $150 million. So they lost
Oh,
money
no.
on this movie. And a big reason why they lost money on this movie, as only being the 29th highest grossing film of 2023, so not very high, is it opened the weekend after Barbie and Oppenheimer. So
Nobody's paying attention to Haunted Mansion because they're too busy partaking in Barbenheimer.
Yep. So swing and a miss there. So All right, let's go into our uncultured swine trivia game.
But first, what do you call it when? Oh shoot!
I call that murder.
No, I was gonna say, what do you call it when an Amish person misses a baseball swing? It's a swing in Amish.
Wah, wah, wah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so I'm the resident uncultured swine as the most recent recipient of this high prestigious honor.
But this time you are the spider swine.
That's right. I am the spider ham swine being that will now be hosting this uncultured swine episode, and Jordan and Jake will be facing off. So it'll be Jordan
Face.
versus
Off.
Jacob.
Face.
On,
Off.
off,
Face. Off.
off,
Face.
face off.
Off.
I don't
It's
understand.
not a trap. It's a face-off.
I don't understand.
If you got that reference, let me know. You can email me personally at jordan@popcr.org.
Oh, I was just going to Guardians 3 when he's like, it's not a trap. It's a face-off.
Face.
Oh, if you know it, yeah. If you know it's a trap, it's not a trap.
It's a face-off.
It's a face off. All right. So question number 1. So we're going to start with Jacob gets the opportunity to answer this first. And if he doesn't answer correctly, then Jordan gets to steal. All right. How many Disney Haunted Mansion rides are around the world?
Holy cow.
Yep. There are a certain number of rides around the world. Your options are 1, 3, 5, or 7.
5.
Is that your final answer?
I think so.
You are correct. Wow, well done. So this question is submitted by listener Erica. Sent in this question. Thank you, Erica. For this one and the next 2 questions are from Erica. That's right. So we have some information on this. 2 of the 5 have different names. Oh, and she says bonus points if you know them.
Oh, no.
Do you know
I
what
do
the
not.
alternate options are? You don't know?
Haunted house?
Nope.
Haunted ride?
Nope.
Spookyville.
These are all great names. Disney should be writing these down.
Come on, Disney.
No, the 2 of them with different names are.
Oop.
Oh,
Oop.
I mean, just throw it out there if it's not there.
I want
it's
to say
not
like
there.
I want to say like something of Screams.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Mystic Manor in Hong Kong and Phantom Manor in Paris. In Paris. All right. So Jake, you have a point. Congratulations. Well done. Jordan, this one's for you. What's the name of the bride that beheads her husband? The options are Leota, Constance, Florence, or Clarice.
Florence.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
It is incorrect. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Jake has an opportunity to steal.
Is it Constance?
It is Constance. Yes. You now have 2
See,
points.
I was going to Monster House.
Oh, dude, that was
Because in Monster House, that's the character. When you said Constance, Monster House is the name of the husband who dies in the house.
Oh, is that the movie that is like, oh, it's a girl house?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it has a uvula?
Yeah. What?
Oh, it's a girl house.
Everyone has a uvula.
What a great movie.
That's literally the only thing I remember about that movie. I mean, it's because when I saw that as a kid, my sister and I literally said that for like months. Oh,
it's a girl house.
It's a girl house. All right. Jacob is taking a commanding lead
I've
here.
yet to lose, guys.
All right, Jacob, back to you. This is another question submitted by Erica.
No bacon for you.
How many stretching room portraits are there in the ride? The first room you walk into as part of the ride, there's a stretching room. How many portraits are on the wall? Answers.
Wait, hold on. Which ride, though? You said there was 5.
The Haunted Mansion ride.
In Florida or California?
All of them. They're
Okay.
the same.
Okay.
Mostly. I might be incorrect about that. I have no idea.
Most.
I'm going to assume they're the same. All right.
If it is mostly, then it's mostly ghostly.
They're all
Yes.
they are all exactly the same except completely different. Okay, how many stretching room portraits are there? 2, 4, 6, or 7?
I'm just going to... I can be reckless because I got 2-point lead. I'm
Be
going to say
reckless.
7.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
It's incorrect.
I figured.
Sorry.
B, it's 4.
You are correct. Jordan is
Hey.
correct. He's got a point back.
Nice.
Okay, 2
I'm
to
still
1.
losing.
Back to Jordan.
That's okay. I'm ready to lose.
Okay, so here we go. Now these are some questions that I just came up with. These actors appeared in the movie except for one of them. All these actors are in this movie except one. Who is it? The options are Winona Ryder, Dan Levy, Jamie Lee Curtis, or Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Is that your final answer?
I don't know why I answered it all. It's Jake's turn.
No, it's your turn.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Oh, Eddie
your
Murphy. Yeah, that's my final answer.
All right. You are correct. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
So Winona
Hasn't shown up
Ryder
in
and Dan
anything in a
Levy were
while.
both the I don't know if they were husband and wife, but they were in
They two of the ghosts.
no, they were the actor and actress who were acting out at Crump's mansion when they went to the place and
Yeah.
he was like, did Crump own this?
There's been a
Was this
murder.
Crump?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was Dan Levy.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. And then I had already said in the cast list.
Shoot,
I should
now
have had a
we're tied.
different
I
answer
shouldn't
than
have-
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Shouldn't have been so reckless.
All right. Well, this is our last question. So, Jake, you get the first chance at the last question. Which song appears in this 2023 movie? You have 3 options:
Oh boy.
When the Saints Go Marching In, Superstition, or What a Wonderful World.
What a wonderful world. That didn't show up in the movie.
No, I said which one appears in this movie.
Appears. Oh, it's Superstition.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's correct.
It's the Dream Team scene.
I'm like,
That's right.
one of these things is not like the other.
Which one is that?
Superstition. The one that sounds like a scary movie song.
I know, but When the Saints Go Marching In, that's like Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
It
I don't know.
could have
That's
played
fair,
in
that's
like one
fair.
of the marching bands could have been playing it. You never know.
I did specifically notice Superstition.
I did too. That's why I
Because
put
it was a
in here.
great part of this. Like it was a great like montage scene song.
Also, the last time that Jake and I was watching back, the last time during the Free Guy, the last time that we went off against each other, just us two, I actually was about to win that, but Jake said what I was going to say on my turn before I got a
right.
chance to say it.
Unbelievable.
And now, second time in a row, Jake said the same answer. I mean, it was on his turn this time. So
This
you know.
time it was fair and square.
Yeah.
I didn't cheat.
Yeah.
You square? You won on Superstition.
He's into Superstition. Black cats. Voodoo dolls.
Very superstitious. Writing on the wall. Very superstitious. Ladder's about to fall. A 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7 years of bad luck. Good things in your past. You believe in things that you can't understand, but you suffer.
What a great song.
Good superstition in the way. Oh, wait. Superstition ain't the way. There it is. That's it.
Talking to you, church.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's a good segue.
That is a good segue. Well, congratulations, Jordan, the recipient of today's Uncultured Swine.
More bacon for me.
More bacon for you.
It's all kosher over here, boy.
All right. So as we move into this part of kind of analyzing the movie, first I wanted to leave some space for us to give some general thoughts on just Halloween in general. Because Halloween more and more seems to be a bigger and bigger part of culture and is a big deal, right? We dress up and go out and give candy away, or if you have kids, you go out and try to get, or maybe if you don't have kids, you still try to get candy. I have no idea. But with it comes a lot of theological implications, right? Because it's definitely a day that celebrates, or at least
Historically.
celebrates,
Spookiness.
yeah, spookiness, evil to a certain extent. A lot of that part is wrapped up in it. So, anybody got any thoughts that they'd like to just give generally on?
I don't have any
on
general
Halloween?
thoughts. I might have some captain thoughts or sergeant thoughts.
I'll take those.
Okay.
I'll take those.
I became a
If
general
anybody has
recently.
like a higher ranking thought.
I became a general recently, so
Okay.
I became a general in Halo Infinite. But it's not really that big of a deal.
That's a big deal. That's your number 2 game.
It is
your number 2 game.
But the problem is, it's only like it's only bronze. I still have so long to go.
So much.
Because I want to hit max rank in Halo Infinite. They just announced the max rank reward, and I want it anyway.
All right, take us.
Yeah. So, like, just general thought about Halloween, right? It's the one day a year where we have an opportunity as the church to love people and give things away, and people are coming to our door, and we have a chance to receive them and care for them and like give them a gift. And the church a lot of the time says, no, this is bad and evil, and turns away from the opportunity, the opportunity where culture is literally coming to your door and you have a chance to be hospitable to them.
Instead of like, do you have a minute to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ?
That's right.
Yeah, instead of that. But yeah, it's just so funny to me, because it's like, it seems profoundly Christian to welcome in the stranger, right? To care for those who, are in need of a cup of water, or, like, and like the chair, like the fact that we get to, or popcorn ball. Just the fact that like, and we get to, give maybe a great memory to these kids that are coming to your door, and young adults or whatever the case. And we have this opportunity, and I think we look too lightly at that opportunity too often.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that too. I think it's one of the only holidays that like the spiritual or the supernatural side of it hasn't been completely sucked dry by consumerism. Because like you look at the major holidays of the year, and well, Thanksgiving, yes, it's still about food and football, but it's now about shopping. Because Black Friday the next day, like it used to, like.
Don't get me started on that one.
I won't. Christmas is all about presents. The drive for just gathering family together isn't as strong anymore, because it's all about getting the right presents. Valentine's Day, it's about getting the right presents. Easter is all about the stinking Easter bunny. How does a bunny lay eggs? Anyways, but Halloween is the one time of year that I've actually noticed that people are actually more welcome with actually talking about or acknowledging the supernatural. And I find it funny how the more our culture leans away from acknowledging the supernatural, the more our society seems to be obsessed with this taboo of like what life is like after death or the supernatural world around us.
Yeah, I think agree with a lot of what you're talking about. And I think as the church too, one, for the believer, I think it's important for us to consider what we are celebrating. So how do we approach our, if you're someone that goes kind of all in and you decorate your yard, or you have kids and they're dressing up and all that stuff, which can be really fun and good. It's not neither one of those things are bad. I think it's what we're dressing up as, what we're putting in our yard, what the purpose of it is. If it's to lean into this is the joy of getting to have fun and to get candy and sugar. Sugar's great. Love sugar. Big fan of sugar. Chocolate, it's great. Big fan of chocolate. But the aspect of celebrating evil, I think we need to be wary of if you're a believer. And then as a believer looking towards culture, again, you have different kids come to your door. Maybe they're dressed up in Scream mask or as Satan or as something bloody and kind of mangled and that kind of stuff. Just remember, like as Jordan and Jake both talked about, like the hospitableness of us getting to love those people where they're at and to not cast judgment. Yeah. To look at that opportunity as an opportunity to have open doors and to have conversation about what you're talking about, with just culture being a little bit more aware of, at least considering what is after death. What does life look like? What are those supernatural forces at work? Because as believers, we believe and we acknowledge that there are forces at work that we cannot see. Like there's powers and principalities at war right now. So it's kind of like, regardless of what your stance is on Halloween, it's not your job to force that on others. And you can, as we talk about, right, this is why we're doing this podcast, right? We can as believers, if we don't agree with something in culture, we can either like fight it tooth and nail. It's really bad, terrible. We can try to push against it and not make it happen or fight it. We can retreat from it. So we can completely withdraw from it and not participate in it in any way and not have any interaction with people that celebrate Halloween, or we can engage with it.
Yeah.
And how do we do that healthily? And so, which I think is what we've talked about.
You could also say you can rejoice in Halloween, reject Halloween, or redeem Halloween.
What?
What a segue.
Yeah.
Nailed it. All right. So
Actually, before we segue, can I say, sorry,
What
can
you
I say
got?
one quick fun
Yeah.
thing? I have a funny like family story.
Bring it.
Because of
story
Halloween.
time with Jordan.
So this is before Jordan was born.
Oh,
This is old family story. So when my brother
The land
closest
before
in,
Jordan.
yeah, the land before Jordan. When my brother closest in age was a kid, and I think there's a picture of it somewhere, but he went as like the stereotypical Satan, like with the horns and the red and everything. He went as that for Halloween one year. That same brother is now a minister in the church.
Nice.
So
Nice.
It's just a fun turnaround. Just a cool, fun little fact.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So going into, again, we used the Haunted Mansion, the movie in 2023 as our, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. We reviewed this movie.
Yeah.
We watched it. There's a better word on the tip of my tongue, but I completely lost it. It's gone. It's gone forever. It's not coming back. But so we're going to move through this. So first, let's start with our rejoice. So what do we want to rejoice is good in this movie? Somebody start us. Start your engine.
I've got a couple of things I want to rejoice. Number one, Lakeith Stanfield. I don't know. I'm not sure if I've seen him in anything else. But I think he did an amazing job with his role in this movie. Like, he did a really, really good job, in my opinion. And I think that's just great.
The
Main guy.
Oh, Ben.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, he
actor.
did phenomenal. Yeah.
There were a lot of really funny moments in this movie. Really clever. When Ben was his character's name.
Yes.
When Ben first encountered the ghost in his apartment and he like freaked out, and then he went outside, and then the guy's like, "Oh, hey, Ben." And he's like, "Nope," and went back in, and his social anxiety was scarier to
it
him,
was so
was a bigger
relatable.
fear than the ghost. That was so funny.
I don't think I've ever related to a character more than I did in that moment.
It's very relatable. I had the,
While you're looking for another
candle,
Yeah.
the candle blowing itself out was another funny moment.
Yeah,
for me.
that was great. Here, this is a really great quote. Can I call you Ghost Bay?
Can I call you Ghost Bay? I am an ally.
It was so good.
Okay, get real for a second. I really rejoiced in the fact that we saw a tough male character weep. I loved that.
Yeah.
Just the showing of like, dude, it's okay to have those emotions, especially over something as serious as losing someone that close to you. That was like the chills moment for me with that scene. And then the immediately following, like Danny DeVito's character, like, man, the cholesterol on this woman.
Yeah.
Getting tater tots and stopping for ice cream.
Yep. Yeah. Bringing humor back into the fold. Did you have something else you're going to add?
That's my that was my main couple of
Okay.
things. It's just I just think it was a really good, fun to watch movie. I say really good. It was a fun to watch movie. I was engaged with the story. I actually wanted to see how it ended. I was like sucked in. Actually, pretty good metaphor. For me, my experience with this movie was Ben's experience with the mansion, because like once he had stepped 1 foot in, he couldn't really get out. And I felt like there was at one point like I just crossed this threshold and then I couldn't get out. Like I couldn't stop watching. It was whether or not I wanted to, I was hooked in. And I think that's important for art. And I just want to rejoice that there is still art being made that is good art.
Good art.
Yeah, that's actually,
It arted very well.
it did art very well.
Yeah. I wanted to rejoice. And this is, kind of going off of what Jake was talking about too. I want to rejoice that Ben, the main character, is able to process and move forward in his grief because he finds a purpose beyond himself and a group of people to be vulnerable and real with.
Yeah.
So he finally steps out or is forced out, right? Kind of forced out of his self-imposed isolation and avoidance. He takes a risk by what Jake was talking about. I say spilling his guts to his new group of companions and is warmly reciprocated with listening ears, gentle truth, and emotional tenderness. So his salvation from grief is found in communal vulnerability, not in isolated loathing.
Yeah. I think there's more about that we can touch in the redeem section. I want to come back to that. I just want to come back to that when we get to rejoice or redeem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's important for us to remember that, again, we talk about fight or flight is our response oftentimes to anxiety or difficulty. And oftentimes when we're in grief, when we're mourning, we have a tendency to withdraw from people. And I just want to celebrate that he withdrew. He was in a state of apathy. He was in his own forced isolation, that he gets drawn out of that. And that's where he's able to process his grief. And I think that's important and good. I think that was really, really well done and shown well through the art of the movie.
Yes. There's so much to say when we get to the redeem part.
So much to say.
Much.
Okay, so we'll keep moving towards that.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's go to rejection. What would you like to reject about this movie?
Rejection.
Very few people do.
I reject rejection.
I'm used to rejection at this point. Like,
No.
eventually you take it enough times, you just get calloused.
Aw.
I think that's where we found Ben at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
But we learn that by opening up his pain to others,
So
he
thank
found
you
healing.
Thank you for
Thank you for
opening up
sharing.
your pain to us
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the audience. That was for the viewing audience only. Okay,
Anyway,
reject. Somebody take us on.
I've got some stuff to reject in this.
Take us on
All
a
right,
journey.
all right.
Let's go.
First of all, as much as I enjoyed the movie, and as much as I think like Keith Stanfield's acting in this was really on point for the character, there was a lot about the movie itself that I just didn't like, that I did not think was well done. I want to start with the kid actor. The kid actor, and I've seen this is such a problem with writing kids. The kid is written like he's an adult. He's unrealistically adult-like.
With like moments where he acts like a kid, but then the rest of it's like, where's the connection here?
Well, it's just his personality, the way he carries himself, the way he talks. He doesn't act like a child who's a little more mature. He acts like a character who is written as an adult. Also, unrelated, I could not unsee Gus from Psych.
You mean Bud from the Cosby Show?
Wait, was that the same actor as Kid Gus?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, but I mean, every time I saw,
hear you.
yeah, like just the way he, again, personality, the way he carried himself.
Hear about Bluto?
It's messed up, right? Sean, how many times, or Gus, how many times does that actually work?
Come on, son.
Come on, son.
Suck it. What?
Okay,
Sorry, Jordan.
it's all right.
You triggered us.
It's all right. Other things that were just unbelievable in this in this movie,
This game of life.
in this game of life. The apartment, that was a huge apartment. That was not an apartment. I'm sorry. That apartment was way too big.
Wait, are you talking about the apartment that like when
Ben's apartment.
when Kent walks in, he's like, this apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that really wasn't that bad of a place.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple other things. Owen Wilson's character, I did not like at first. And I was really frustrated with what felt like such an unnuanced, like uninformed. It seemed like a really unnuanced, uninformed, outdated stereotype, especially like emphasis on outdated, super outdated stereotype of like a Christian person,
a Catholic priest. Yeah.
Well, and not even necessarily a Catholic priest. I mean, maybe Catholic priest, but like so many like. And I'm going to get like, when we get into Redeem, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Owen Wilson's character, but
yeah,
like at first impression, like first half of the movie, I'm like, this character is just like, here's why it was specifically frustrating, because Disney seems to go to great lengths to get their typecasting, or not typecasting, but they're like, their stereotype written characters and their cultures really, really tight. Like
until they get to the pastor.
Until they get to the pastor or the priest. And it's like, really? Like that's where you're going to rely on your information from 30 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah, he had that one line that was like I got a problem with money, but the guy upstairs got me on a short leash.
Yeah.
Like,
and then the Keith's Ben's character, Ben was like, probably needs to keep it shorter. That was so good. I again, over and over again,
the quips in this movie were really stellar.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Also, a little bit of a reject from a technical standpoint, from like an audio production standpoint. There was at some point in the movie, someone said, "Did we make it in time?" And there's totally an audio cutout glitch. Whereas the audio gets cut out like right at the end of the phrase, and it's super obvious if you know like what that sound is.
Man, you're gonna make me watch the movie and go look for that spot.
Oh man. There we go. That's all I have to reject.
Connor, what you got?
I got probably a couple things. I think one is a child may have difficulty processing existential dread, but the child in this movie, I'm thinking about the scene specifically when Owen Wilson and Sarah Dawson's characters. Man, I wish I remembered their names. The father. Oh, wait, no, not father. No, it was Ben. It was Ben and Gabby, I think is her name.
Yes.
Are talking about her child who's out in the courtyard playing, and obviously is going through heavy stuff, and is having a difficult time. And the mom talks about, we haven't really talked much about it. I'm worried he's having trouble processing existential dread. But the real thing that he's having trouble processing is his dad dying. Like that's the real conflict that's happening with that character. But they don't realize it. And we kind of catch some tension. We didn't realize that his father had passed away at this point, but there definitely at least been a split that he was having difficulty passing through. So I think for me, I want to reject that we assume what the problem is that people are having instead of actually asking what the problem is, or without actually kind of going in deeper with people and figuring out what is actually the problem. Again, they thought the son was troubled because of the haunted mansion, but really he was troubled because of the grief of losing his father. So I want to reject jumping to a conclusion about what people are struggling with and trying to treat that issue, because if they would have just asked and treated that problem, they wouldn't have had ultimately the problem at the end of the movie. Yeah. With the son being drawn towards the lie at the end and potentially becoming the last soul to be claimed. And then the second one has to do with grief. I won't go too much into it, but when the last line, which I think is meant to be like this huge, like impactful moment in the movie, when Ben is stalling and is tricking the guy into thinking that he's going to give his life, but his friends are actually like getting stuff figured out. And he says, "These people can't save me from my grief, but they can save me from you." And I like when I watched that, I literally just wrote down, Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, for like a cornerstone moment of the movie, close. Like close, but no cigar. I don't know what that means, but there it is.
I used to know what that means.
There's a reference. So I want to acknowledge that people cannot make our grief go away, but they can definitely help us process and move through our grief.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of say that. So, and And that ultimately it's the Lord that saves us from our grief, that can meet with us in our grief, that can help us move forward through our grief. John 16:22. So with you now is your time of grief, but I will see you again and you will rejoice and no one will take away your joy. Jesus says that to the disciples. Romans 8:18. Yet we suffer now. Well, yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory that will be revealed to us later. The idea that there's glory, we should glory in our sufferings because suffering produces perseverance, character, hope in Jesus, not hope in us, in our circumstances, but hope in Jesus. And then tons of scripture about God granting us peace. And ultimately, what I came to was the Ecclesiastes passage about two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. And if either one of them falls down, one can help the other up. So biblically, we can at least help each other through and should help each other move through our grief. Maybe not save us from our grief, but people like definitely play a big role in us processing and moving through our grief. So I wanted to like partially at least reject that line. Both one as like a really that's the cornerstone line in this movie, and that's what you came up with from an art standpoint and from a truth standpoint. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Not all the way there.
I just wanted to say the origins of the Close But No cigar.
Thank you.
Back in the 1920s, when carnivals would hand out cigars as prizes.
So you got close to getting the prize, but there's no cigar.
Yeah. You make
Is
an
that the
attempt at
prize?
something, but you fail.
So
you
close, but no lung disease. Sorry.
Yep. Close, but no giant stuffed animal that you really probably can't carry around for the next 2 hours you're going to be there.
Close, but no stuffed animal that can't fit in your car.
But it's so fluffy.
It's so fluffy.
I could die. All right,
It's a
Jacob.
different movie. Yeah, I have a similar rejection to something I've said in a different podcast, but like
You do other podcasts than this one?
in a different episode of this podcast.
Traitor.
Oh my goodness. Jordan, I'm pretty sure I've heard you say that you've done other podcasts. So
Yeah, have in the
I'm
past.
gonna keep going. There is that moment when they were doing the reverse seance, otherwise known as the astral projection, scene where Ben's character is the one that's actually drawn into what they call it, the ghost realm. I don't remember. And he gets like singled out by, what's the bad guy's name? I'm terrible with names.
Crump?
This is Crump. Yeah, he gets singled out by Crump. And it's like the thing that singles him out, the thing that he says, that Crump says singled him out was like, you also know that life has no meaning. So that makes you better than others. This like, and I've been thinking about this because it's a common critique that I have on our culture, which is that nihilistic message of if nothing has meaning, therefore anything has whatever value you give to it. I think I said this in a previous episode. I'm not sure. You should go look for it. But I was thinking about that when I was rewatching the movie this morning and just kind of like, man, I feel like if all we do is put our meaning on things and we end up putting our identity on them. And so like this whole thing of like, first of all, you know that nothing has meaning. Dude, the guy's not happy. Like the guy's not going through a good patch of life right now. I don't necessarily think that that's a good thing. It doesn't make him better. It doesn't make him stronger. It doesn't bring him healing. And two, this whole if nothing has meaning, therefore anything you give meaning to, like we end up just putting our identities on everything around us so that everything else dictates who we are except for what is actually true and who we are actually made to be, is just my biggest critique. It just keeps popping up in media these days. And I just speak against it. Life is not meaningless. And even I think we even see this in the church a little bit too, of this like heaven is not my home culture, which I don't agree with. I don't think that's even in the Bible.
Heaven is not my home.
Or sorry, the earth is not my home. Heaven's my home. This whole like I'm just passing through kind of thing in church culture, which is not true. Even in most or in the end times literature that I have read, the earth does not get thrown away like it was bad in the first place. And we don't just stay in heaven. In fact, in Revelations, they say that the saints in heaven are asking, Lord, how much longer must we stay here? because in the end, heaven comes back down onto earth.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole like the world that we're living in doesn't matter is bull, because God made it good. If he didn't, he wouldn't have made it. We can't screw up earth so bad that he's just going to throw it away. He's going to redeem it. He's going to restore it to where it was supposed to be all along. It wasn't made to be thrown away. The life that we're living right now matters. The things around us matter, and they mean they have way more meaning than we can ever comprehend.
That's right. All right. You said the buzzword. Buzzword.
Buzz.
Redeem. It's time to redeem.
All right. So to start with, going back to Owen Wilson's character, once he got to the point where he's like, I'm not really a priest. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, Disney does know what they're doing. I'm going to lay off. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, the whole time I'm getting really frustrated because, up until that point, I'm getting frustrated with like, why is his character written like this? Like, I understand what they're trying to make the character seem a little obnoxious, a little annoying, maybe try to be a little funny with it, but it's just like, it's not doing it for me. And then they finally got to the point where it's like, I am a fraud. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, that is better. That tracks. I think it's better when people who aren't within a faith tradition or that they claim to be in, or, people who don't have a relationship with Jesus or who, whatever, thing you want to put in. I think it's better when they truthfully admit that than when they pretend to adopt, and they adopt this identity that is not actually true of who they really are. I think too many times in the church, we have a nominal identity. We call ourselves Christians, and you can add whatever denominational hashtag onto it, right? You can put on Baptist, you can put on Lutheran, you can put on Free Methodist, you can put on Evangelical Covenant, or like whatever, right? You can put on Catholic, you can put on Orthodox. I think there's a lot of damage done to a lot of people who walk in those things, in those traditions, and don't actually think them or believe them or take them seriously. I think it's way better for that person if they admit that maybe they don't actually believe this is the case or that's the case, or that they're like, not really walking with Jesus. I think that's better for people. And I think it's just better for their life. It's better for the church. It's better for, it's better for the world, because then, for one thing, as believers, then we can have an honest conversation with them, and we can have an honest conversation with them and not have to use all of the Christian-y phrases and pretend like everything is hunky dory and like we don't have our own doubts, and like you can have that real conversation with somebody, and then maybe eventually, they'll, hopefully they come to a deeper understanding of the truth. Maybe, and I don't know. I get frustrated when there's people who claim to be of any camp or any background or anything like that, and the fruit of their life just doesn't match that. And that's on anything, right? You can have the same with people outside of the church, people who aren't Christians. And
so you're saying it's kind of like me pretending that I know what football is or soccer, and try sitting in on like a soccer game and acting like I'm really interested and like I love what's going on and I know exactly what's going on, when I really just have no clue.
And you probably don't really care, but you're probably really there for the camaraderie, right? Yeah. That's a good example of it. Yeah. I think we need to, because God knows where our heart is. And I think we need to, no pun intended, pun a little bit intended. I think we need to give up the ghost on
Jordan, when it comes to you, the pun is always intended.
That is
Don't
not
lie.
true. That is not true. The pun is most of the time intended. Like 95% of the time it's intended. There's like a 5% chance of the time where it's like it happens. It's like, oh, well, that's funny. But yeah, I think sometimes we need to give up the ghost of, a false identity that we feel like that we have to believe that, or to get people to love us or to listen to us or to include us.
Yep.
So I just wanted to say that with Owen Wilson's character, I think it's the other thing. Life is dirt. We're all dirt. Human beings created in the image of God. God
From the dust.
made from the dust. So, kind of life, we kind of are dirt, and that's not a bad thing,
Right.
That's God's good creation,
Right.
We could dive more into that, but I think that's fine.
Sounds good.
Yeah, there we go.
No, yeah.
I've kind of got two things, so I'll just say the one thing that I was really thinking about while you were talking, Jordan. I was listening. I promise I was paying attention.
That's fine.
But so this is a Halloween movie, but I feel like the message of this Halloween movie was to take off the mask rather than to put it on. Because you have Father Kent, who is definitely not Father Kent. You have the boy Travis, who is definitely quote unquote not grieving over his dad because no one's asking him. You have the main character Ben, who takes off his mask and lets people see how much he's hurting, and that actually becomes a main focal point for the entire movie. Even I never remember Danny DeVito's character, but even he was willing to open up whenever they asked, hey, do you have anybody that you can call? And he just, nope. I got this one lady that helps me, that takes out my trash for me. But the entire time he was unapologetically just trying to be a part of the group. This entire movie to me was a movie of people taking off their masks and showing who they were and how they were really, really doing. And it flows into what my original redeem was, which is the process of grief. That I just finished reading, and then this is yesterday, I just finished reading John Mark Comer's first book, My Name is Hope. Yes, I know.
If you have your bingo card out and you have Jake mentioning John Mark Comer, you can go ahead and mark that off now.
You suck.
Hello, my name is.
You're not going to find, this book was harder for me to find because it's not printed anymore, but it's his first book all about dealing with depression and anxiety in your walk with Jesus. And this whole show is, you expect to have spoilers, but the book really just kind of ends with the fact that you don't get through grief or depression or anxiety alone. And really, you it's easy to say, oh yeah, well, the Lord's going to be my comfort. He is my strength. He's my refuge. Yes. And those are all true, but we are each made in his image. And that even in the New Testament, when it says that I think that it was it's one of the Corinthians 6. It's talking about sexual immorality. And it says, don't you know that your body is that you are the body of Christ. That is that's a plural. That's a y'all. Y'all are the body of Christ, not you individually. And so he kind of got into this point where he's talking about how in grief we often get into ruts, which I think is where we saw Ben at the very beginning of this. He's just doing his ghost tours, and ghosts aren't real. Don't know why you're taking this tour, because ghosts aren't real. I've seen it all. It's not there. And it took being around people who got past his walls that brought him out of it. And when you get into these ruts, especially with grief or with mourning, oftentimes you don't even know that you're there. That only happens in community.
I think on a similar line with grief, one thing I want to redeem is that, once all the characters stepped into the mansion, they were drawn back to it eventually. They tried to leave. They tried to run away from the ghosts that ail them, and they are forced to come back to the mansion. And I want to name that, like those ghosts following those characters around, we cannot outrun what ails us. So if it's grief, we can't just outrun it. We can't just pretend that it's not there. It will continually show itself in other ways. that continue to haunt us, that continue until we deal with it. Like we have to address it. We have to deal with it. And I saw a character in the movie. I think it was Harriet. Is that her name? The character played by Tiffany Haddish. I think she said that grief unprocessed will make a spirit stuck.
Yeah.
And I want to change that to grief unprocessed will make a person stuck. Like when we have grief that isn't processed, when we don't healthily work through it with the Lord in community, like what you're talking about, it will continue to keep us stuck. It will continue to show itself again and again in unhealthy ways, in ways that continue to either wreck our future, that continue to cause pain to either ourselves or the ones that we love or the ones that we are around when we don't move through and address those wounds and that grief. So that's one thing that would be a natural tie to engaging with other people, is talking about how we as believers and Christians obviously can turn to our ultimate provider, God, and can turn to the ultimate healer, God, for this kind of healing, and that we can experience that intentional and safe vulnerability in community with other believers, and that you can't experience that anywhere else. That only happens in community with God and with other believers.
Well, that's the quote at the very beginning of the movie, talking about like New Orleans funerals, and they say, where grief can end in joy if one is willing to walk through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, and the other thing that I want to redeem is that when the evil spirit of Crump is trying to lure Ben into being the last soul, right, to sacrifice or to giving himself to get whatever he wants, type of deal. He keeps, in that reverse seance moment or whatever, he's falling around and he keeps telling him, life has no meaning and we all end up in the dirt. If you're willing to help me, I can give you what you want. If you're willing, I can give you what you want. If you're willing. And I just wrote in all caps, this is what temptation is.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what temptation is, that's what it is. It's evil promising us that it will give us what we want.
At the cost of compromise.
Right. At the cost of doing what we know is wrong.
Yeah.
At the cost of giving maybe what is even more precious to us. It's evil promising that it has our ultimate good in mind, not God. Right. We look at even the Garden of Eden, right? The devil whispers, did God really say that? Is that for your good or for his good? Because if it's for your good, you would eat it. Because then you would be like God. You would know what God knows. But God doesn't want you to know that. So, like, I'm here for your good. God's just in it for him, type of deal. Yet it leaves us, when we fall for the lie, it leaves us more dead. And like those haunted people in that mansion, it leaves us more dead and empty than we were before. And ultimately, we as believers, right, we can use this to engage with culture because we know that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And we know that the word of God is good. So you can just like dive into Psalm 109. Psalm 109 is the 176 verses.
Psalm 119.
Sorry, I missed a digit.
You're one digit off.
I was one digit off. Yes, which I have it pulled up, and it is Psalm 119. And one digit off. 3.1.
Those people who are just listening would be so confused.
So we're just going to move on. Psalm 119, thank you. Verses 97 through 105 says, oh, how I love your law. I meditate on it all day long. Your commands are always with me, and they make me wiser than my enemies. I have more insight than all my teachers, for I meditate on your statutes. I have more understanding than the elders, for I obey your precepts. I have kept my feet from every evil path, so that I might obey your word. I have not departed from your laws, for you yourself have taught me. How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth. I gain understanding from your precepts, therefore I hate every wrong path. And here's the one that probably all of us know. Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light for my path.
Isn't that the what was the Awana's like?
God's word is a light unto my feet and a lamp unto my path.
Because in Awana's you did like the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
Oh, I don't remember what the Christian flag was. I think it was also like hand over the heart, and then the Bible pledge.
Interesting.
You did the hand motions.
I
like it was
vaguely
the
remember
Bible.
this. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
I
glad
was
I'm
never
not
in
the only
Awanas.
one.
I went to Awanas for a little bit when I was a kid. Yeah.
Not the only. So again, the goodness, when we are encountering those moments of temptation, when we are feeling that pull, when we think that this is for my good, I want this is for my good, I should respond this way, this is for my good, this is how I should respond. It's that we have to turn back and look and remember God's law and his word, and that is ultimately for our good. It's not for our like restriction or our just because. It's not just a law just because. It's a law, and it's God guiding us for our good. It's for our good when we follow his precepts and his ways, even when it doesn't feel like it. Because oftentimes it doesn't feel like it, but it is.
Yeah.
And so that was just such a big thing that jumped out to me. Again, he's saying, if you're willing to help me, I can give you what you want. Just imagine, Devil just saying, I can give you what you want. This is right here. I have it for you. This is what you want. And it's not actually.
He's like holding it over Ben when the difference is God like Yahweh gives it freely.
Right.
Versus this like, oh, you can have it if.
Yeah. Very rarely will, and never will, the cost be apparent to us. It's only the reward of our sin.
Yeah.
The
Cost has
cost of
already
it
been
is
paid
far
for.
greater than what is worth in the sin. And ultimately that our goodness and our ultimate pleasure and our ultimate fulfillment is in the Lord.
Yep.
It's in following his statutes and his laws and his precepts, that it is, as the psalmist says, sweeter than honey.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my redeem.
Yeah.
I did think there was one redeeming quality of Kent's false understanding of a pastor, which was at the very beginning. I realized it was slightly manipulative when he said it, but I thoroughly enjoyed if it like just the wording of it. It said, my job is to have faith and I have faith in you. And I think often just in my time as a pastor, oftentimes the like all people really just need is to be believed in, is to have faith in them. And not just like have faith in like this, like, oh yeah, you can do it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, which don't get me started on that soapbox, because that verse is not in context. Or it's taken out of context a lot. But just that like the I have faith in you. Oftentimes it's really all people need, because we end up being, oftentimes we end up being people's first contact with the Holy Spirit and with Jesus, because they interact with us in the church. And all it takes really sometimes is just having faith in people and not assuming the worst out of them.
Yeah.
I just like the rest of his portrayal, his false portrayal of a pastor was ridiculous. I'm going to say my morning prayers. It's not morning. It is in Rome. That was like the rest of his portrayal was ridiculous, but I loved that one spot.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody else have anything you want to redeem before we start our
I might have some
outro
coupons
sequence?
I want to redeem, but I'd have to be at Dillon's to do that.
Unbelievable. I'm probably just digging around looking for them.
Yeah.
That person in line. I got a coupon in here somewhere. Oh, joy.
Bring in tongs so I can try and grab
How do
them.
I work this app? I don't understand. Sorry.
Speaking of Dylan's and coupons.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Is this a reject or is this a... No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I just want to, I want to quickly point out, there were several things that were mentioned in this movie that I'm pretty sure like sponsored the movie. Zillow,
Yep.
Amazon, CVS, Costco. I'm pretty sure they actually like sponsored the movie because of like
Product placement.
Yeah,
Sage.
exactly.
Where'd you find the sage? Oh, Costco.
Yeah.
Which is not what's happening here with our betrayal.
It is not.
Absolutely not.
We wish it was happening.
But I
Please
did
do sponsor us.
Yes, that's actually the redeem of this. If you want to sponsor us, if you want to like contact us at admin@popcr.org.
Betrayal. We know you're watching.
Betrayal, or anything else that like if you have a thing and you send it to us and we're like, oh, you know what, that we actually do want to support this and we do want to let this up and you want to help the show out, contact us, because we're trying to get our feet off the ground with this, or we're trying to get our little feet up and running, kicking. What's the phrase?
I liked all that.
Yeah.
I'll fly. I like flying.
I'll fly away.
We're getting things off the ground here. Up and running. Fly away.
When I die, hallelujah, by and by. I don't like this song.
I'll fly away.
Escapist?
Yeah, me neither.
What?
Escapism, yeah.
You want to talk about avoiding and withdrawing. All right. Well, that's a wrap for our episode today. So first of all, again, happy Halloween or Halloween week or whenever. Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
That's too healthy for me. I can't.
No lettuce wrap.
No.
Well, let us wrap it up.
I like lettuce. I like hummus. I don't know. I'm done. I'm not gonna continue.
You picked a hard ride.
I did. I'm like lettuce.
So many false starts. You give us so many false starts. We get so excited. And they're like, and nope. But when it does work out, keep swinging.
Yeah.
Just keep swinging. You make 0% of the shots that you don't take.
You miss
Is that how you say that?
You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Hey, listen, you can't hit a home run if you don't swing. All right. I like that one better. Okay. Anyway, so happy Halloween. If you are trick-or-treating tonight, have fun, be safe, don't be dumb, get a lot of sugar, share it with your parents.
As Katie Gregoire would say, don't be stupid or make bad decisions. And I'm probably the only person here who knows who Katie Gregoire is.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
I was just going to give my 3 rules of life. Have fun, don't die, and don't kill anyone.
That's right. And remember that we have an opportunity as believers tonight, if you're listening to this on Halloween or later in the week, to continue to engage with people, to continue to engage with culture. Because again, culture is made up of people.
What?
People that are made in the image of God and that Jesus loves dearly. And we have an opportunity to continue to engage with them and to work towards the redemption of the places that we're at. Again, if you wouldn't mind, please follow, rate,
And like,
review,
and comment.
subscribe. There's so
share.
many verbs, and wherever you're listening to it, if you would like to do that, that would be really helpful for us. Specifically, the sharing piece is really helpful for us. If you found this podcast kind of helpful for you in how you evaluate Halloween or how you think through culture, then consider helping other people have access to that.
If you like this episode, tell your friends. If you really like it, tell your enemies.
And if you really, really, really like it, tell your pets.
Yeah. Or your plants if you don't have any
Specifically pets with opposable thumbs.
And
who
if
can
you-
rate, review, subscribe.
And if you really, really, really like it,
So many realities.
send us money. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Patreon account soon following.
Well, I don't know about that.
Again, you can
but-
check out our YouTube channel. We do have polls and stuff up on Spotify, so answer those questions. Leave a comment or a poll or something like that if you want to, and all the other stuff. You can do it if you want, and if not, that's totally fine. If you just want to listen, we're glad that you're listening. So thanks
We're so glad that you're
thanks
here.
for being here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. Anybody got anything else you want to squeeze in here before we close it?
That's it.
Nope.
I'm not exactly a squeezing in kind of guy.
That's all I'm able to do. That is the majority of my life. Squeeze and jump. And squeeze and jump. And squeeze and
And a
jump.
stretch. No, wait.
And
I stretch.
Dazzle.
And stretch.
we're making completely different references here. Anyway,
This has been a real lot of psych references in today's show. Makes it a great show.
we're just here to psych you out in the end.
That's right.
We're really psyched up about it.
Yeah.
On Halloween, right?
Yeah. All right.
Well, we're signing off.
Hit a note. Harmonize.
Bye-bye. Happy Halloween. Until next time, remember, God is working in pop culture. See ya. Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye.